Alright guys, hopefully you are viewing this video on Friday because this is the first time I'm using the schedule video mechanic, and hopefully it works out alright. I scheduled this video because I am finally taking a vacation for like the first time in 5 years or something. And you know what I need a vacation from? Comments like this. Do you guys understand what 2 years of getting comments like this is like? You know, it's even when you do put the thing in the description, yeah, people are just still gonna be like, what's the build? I didn't see the build. I have a video titled along the lines of literally every build I ever run, and you know, that's very accurate. It's like 95 to 99% of my builds. But today we're also going to be taking a vacation from those types of builds, and we are going to be intentionally making builds as bad as possible. But first, this video is brought to you by me and the TheMrTrails store. We have Pangar and Hellion designs on sale, as well as the new sibling rivalry where both are on the same design. Use code CRY10 to save 10% on any of the Pangar or Hellion items in the store. This promotion will be ending soon, so act fast. Get yourself some matching coffee mugs for you and your favorite coworker. Again, use code CRY10 to save 10% on any Pangar or Hellion items at the TheMrTrails store. So obviously the worst build that you can make in Dauntless is one that just doesn't have a perk summary, and you use all recruit gear and then you throw on a recruit weapon, and that's absolutely your worst build. But part of the challenge of today's video was to have a build with full perk summary and see how bad it could be. I went with repeaters for the weapon, but of course there are worse weapons than the repeaters, and one of the roadblocks to this challenge is the lantern. The lanterns are all pretty darn good in their own respects, and then they give you a utility cell, which, you know, is the worst part about them. For this utility cell, I went with energized, because energized does absolutely nothing on repeaters. For the weapon, I went with the cool shot repeaters, because cool shot doesn't have a unique effect, and the acidic is going to hinder our lifesteal plans here. We use weighted strikes for the power slot and stunning vigor for the defensive slot. The chamber doesn't really matter here because all of the chambers can be good depending on the behemoth, and while it's technically not awful, we're going to use the saboteur's grip because it is usually worse than the captain's grip. And we're going to use the demolition sights mod, easily the worst part about repeaters here. We're going to only do extra damage to objects created by behemoths, and usually that's just never really applicable. And none of the omni cells are technically bad. We're going to use the worst one for DPS purposes, being Iceborne. For the armor, we're going to run the Pangar helmet with Blade Storm inside, the Stormclaw chest piece with Agility inside, the Thrax gloves with Sharpened inside, and the Rezakiri boots with Invigorated inside.
This perk summary comes out to 6 Agility, 6 Energized, 3 Acidic, 3 Blade Storm, 3 Invigorated, 3 Knockout King, 3 9 Lives, 3 Sharpened, 3 Stunning Vigor, and 3 Weighted Strikes.
Meaning we have a whopping 0% attack speed and 0% damage increases.
This build is so bad I could only do one hunt with it before going insane.
It took me like 3.5 minutes to kill a Riftstalker, whereas the normal build would be like, you know, maybe a minute when it's 5 levels higher, only if I wasn't able to stop it from doing the Enrage Interrupt. But I went so insane that I realized that this build is actually too overpowered, because the Acidic was able to get me a wound, meaning we did get a 15% damage bonus and 15% attack speed bonus during the fight. And we just can't be having that now, can we? So I ended up switching over to the Scrave repeaters, which don't have the worst unique effect, but they do have a pretty bad perk in Nimble. And I slotted in 3 Merciless and 3 Grace into our cell slots. Grace at 3 is fine here because you don't get a move speed converted to attack speed bonus at +3, and then Merciless is not enough wound damage to get a wound because we're not really going to be staggering things, and it would only really activate after a part break animation, which usually doesn't give you enough time to get a wound out of that. You'd probably need like 4 or 5 part breaks and then focus the same part during those part break animations. You know, it's just not going to happen. But either one of these builds are so bad, you would be better off doing a mage build with lantern cooldowns only, because in these builds, that's basically where the majority of your damage is going to be coming from, and these have been some very cursed builds. But hopefully this vacation will give me a bit of a much needed mental reset and is able to take away a good bit of stress. But that's going to be it from me, guys. I have been Trevor, I go by the TheMrTrails, and I will catch you guys next time.